I'm your host, Fit Sid, and welcome back to Dirty CEO, where we go balls deep into the reality of what people are really thinking. Now let's get into it. Dirty CEO. Hey guys, it's Sydney, and I am back. Today we're going to be talking about casual versus exclusive dating, and I just want to preface that I have had a lot of hookups in the past. But I also have had a lot of like exclusive dating experiences, and I feel like even if it starts as a hookup, I always end up in the like exclusivity range because I don't really have sex with people unless I see something like a little bit more long term with them or like enjoyable. Anyways, casual hookups versus exclusive. So the other day, one of my friends, she's dating this guy. I don't really consider it dating because they're not exclusive or anything, but they're like a thing, right? We all have been going out. Funny story about that though. I actually matched with him on Tinder before she did back in like October, and we did not hit it off. Like we talked for like a little bit, like less than 24 hours. And we knew, he and I both were like, yeah, this isn't going to work. So it never turned into anything, right? But when he started talking to her, like she's a very different personality than me. Like, let's be honest. She and I have very different personalities. I would say that I'm like a very independent go-getter. No one really ever pays for me. I'm sweet, but like I just am very independent. So I pull in a different type of guy. Like the type of guys that like me are usually the kind that are like extra caring, extra thoughtful. They're not boys. They are very like, let me lock it down with you type of men, because like that's kind of what I attract. And don't get me wrong, I've definitely had like plenty of boys, but I drop those types of guys because that's not what I want. And like, she's a very kind, nurturing soul. And she's definitely like stay-at-home mom vibes, which is like amazing, awesome. This is why we're friends. Like she and I, we get along so well. I love her so freaking much. But like there's a difference obviously, because like the men that she likes are different than the ones I would like, but we have a really good time as a group. So we've been going out as like a group for a little bit now and doing really fun things. And then she was telling me, she was like, I always see him have girls pop up on his phone. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like I did see him get a Snapchat because like I said, we hang out as a group. And he said and made some comments that have been like not total red flags, but he's definitely said things where you're like, what is going on here? Like, why are you saying this? Like sometimes boys, not men, boys say things and don't think through how it can come off to the girl they're talking to, right? And so he made like this commentary about, oh, like if I got divorced, I would take everything from her. Why would you say that in front of the girl that you're talking to? Because, like, I don't know about anyone else, but I definitely date to marry. And, like, I would never date someone that said that to me. But that was definitely something that perked her ears up. And she was like, why would he say that? But she, like, looked past it because, like, you know, sometimes people just say things without thinking and they don't realize, like, what they're saying might come across, like, super weird. She had that one red flag. And then she said to me, she was like, I'm still seeing all these girls pop up on his phone. We've been talking for like, at this point, they've been talking for like a month and a half. And he is the type of guy that like, he's cool, you know, he's fun, he's cool. He has a little bit of a drinking problem for sure. But he's really like nice and fun and like young, you know, he has those fun vibes that like, I really enjoy being around him as a friend because I can say things and she's not jealous. And like, you know, she and I have been friends for so long that that's like amazing anyways. But it's just different, you know what I mean? So she did bring up though to me, she was like, what do I say? Because I want to know where he sees this going. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, it's hard because like, okay, we're getting into the exclusivity and casual dating part, right? I said to her, I was like, you just need to ask him outright, like in person, preferably not over messages because messages get construed. I was like, you know, maybe do this in person because you want to see his genuine reaction. You don't want to pressure him, but you want to like be exclusive. Like I said to her, I was like, you got to do this. Like do it in person, figure out how you're feeling, tell him. She ended up messaging him, I believe. I don't think she said it the way that I maybe would have said it, but she still said it. And I feel like his reply, no matter what, definitely tells a lot. So she was like, hey, like, are we exclusive? Like, I would like to be exclusive with you, which exclusive is very different than boyfriend and girlfriend. Also, Toasty is my Pomeranian. He is definitely making an appearance in this podcast right now by barking. But exclusivity is very different than dating and being boyfriend and girlfriend. So there's like different levels, in my opinion, to dating, and maybe you don't agree, maybe you do. If you're listening to this and you have problems with dating, maybe this will be helpful, because in my personal life, I'm a pretty traditional dating type person. Like, my relationships usually go from like talking, exclusivity. This is the phases, by the way. So you're talking, right? That's where they're at right now. Then you talk about being exclusive. So that means that you're not talking to other people. Your options aren't open. You're not having sex with other people unless you are in an open relationship or you're polyamorous. But she is not either of those. So that means that he shouldn't be with other people. He can go hang out with other people, but like no having sex with them, no dating them, no talking to them like that, right? That's exclusivity. Then you get into dating more like legit, you're meeting people, and then boyfriend and girlfriend. Then it goes from boyfriend and girlfriend to like proposal and then marriage, right? So this man said to my best friend, one of my best friends, and she is like one of the most caring, nurturing people. Like, she isn't a girl, she's not going to talk to a million people. She definitely is like a lock it down type of girl. And no one's perfect, so I'm not trying to put her on a pedestal, but I do want you guys to know, like, she's definitely one of those people that, she's just an amazing person, and she has a heart of gold, and her intentions with dating are very pure. So his reply to her saying that was, he said, oh, I've always been in relationships and I've always rushed it so quick. And she was like, yeah, but I'm not asking you to rush it. She's like, I'm just asking you to confirm with me that we're just talking to each other and not sleeping with other people. And this man couldn't confirm it. And they've been talking maybe longer than a month and a half, but like they see each other and stay together for like 3 days at a time. And I come over and like we all hang out. So I definitely think that he either has to be talking to other girls, and I would love to know your guys' input, but do you think that he's talking to other girls if he doesn't want to be exclusive with her? Or do you think he genuinely is just scared of commitment? Even though it's not boyfriend and girlfriend, it still is a type of commitment where like now his options are going to be taken away, So yeah, I was just curious about that. I really, really hope that he like is just being silly about it. But his whole reasoning is, I usually get committed too quickly. And I just find that to be such a BS excuse, because if you really like someone and you're so down for them, in my opinion, why would you want to like not confirm that? I don't know. Not that like you need to rush anything, but it's just exclusivity. Like, he says he's not with anyone else. He says he's not having sex with anyone else. So why not be exclusive? The way that dating works in my personal life, I can still be exclusive and have work be work. So the difference is in my like dating and personal life is, I personally, like, if I'm dating someone, if we establish that they have earned my trust and they know how to have casual, which is why we're getting into the casual, if they have earned my trust and shown me that like they aren't a cheater, quote unquote, I would be okay with them sleeping with other people as long as they are actively using condoms and getting tested the way that I do. Theirs would be more for pleasure and mine is definitely for work, but like I'm not against that. But I also know that a lot of people can't handle that. But like I always like to start a relationship being personally monogamous. So like when I'm shooting content with other people and I'm seeing them on camera, there's a very big difference. And I like love having sex on camera. But there's a difference. Like I don't have emotion or connection with the people that I'm shooting with. I have a great time. but I'm not like getting to know them. I'm not going on dates. I'm not making out with them off camera. So I don't see how that's an issue, right? And anyone that I date has never seen that as an issue because I won't date them if it is an issue. But if we are together long enough and I see that they can separate it the way that I can, I definitely wouldn't be against it. I'm not saying I'd be poly or anything or like open because I've never gotten to that point with someone, but I definitely am open to that because I don't want to be fair, quote unquote. Like, I'm not trying to do it to be fair. I'm doing what I think is ethical. So yeah, I personally like to be exclusive with someone. And then later down on the line, I reevaluate the relationship, see where it's at. Yeah, I definitely think there's a difference between casual dating and being exclusive. And I'm the type of person that, like, in my personal life, I don't want to be casually having sex with a ton of people. I like to have one person. We're both exclusive with each other. That way we are being safe. We know that, we're not sleeping around with a million people. And then I'm still getting my tests every 14 days. Like, I just got a fresh test a couple days ago, and I haven't even had sex with anyone in like 2 weeks. But that doesn't like change. Like, even if I had sex with one person, I always get those tests, whether I'm having sex or not, because I like to keep up with my personal self-care is what I'm going to call it. Because with my job, I just like to have that peace of mind. So yeah, I personally think casual dating has really like, it can be really fun if you go on a date and you're like, this person isn't personally like dating material, but you want to like end the night with a bang. So now we're going to get into like the casual dating and like my thoughts on that. Okay. Because like, I want to be clear. I personally really like exclusive dating and like exclusive, but I'm also a sucker for casual dating. I don't know if I could do a casual dating now, but I could do casual. Like, I definitely have multiple friends with benefits that I can hit up anytime. If I have strep throat, I text them and I'm like, yo, I have strep throat. Will you just come and bang me? And like, no, and I'm not saying that I actually do this, but I'm saying like these people are people that I've been friends with benefits with for the past 4 or 5 years. Like, this punani is so good that they just stay around, right? And some of them I even film it with and post it on OnlyFans, but a lot of them are like very personal, like relationships that I have. And they're like people that when I'm dating someone, I don't hit up. But when I'm single, they know, hey, Sydney just hit me up. And then I can also tell too, if they don't text me back, that means that they're probably like talking to someone. And like, we are very respectful of each other's like personal lives, But yeah, I love a good casual like a lot. And I also really like it with someone who's very like comfortable with me. I have this one guy, we're going to call him M, and he is such a sweet, kind soul. We went on one date, and this was like 4 or 5 years ago. We went on one date, realized that neither one of us was over our exes. We definitely like needed just therapy together. So on that date, instead of us like starting something, he ended up taking me on a drive. We talked about life, and then I gave him the best roadhead he had ever had. His words, not mine. And it was like in this really fancy part of town. We like drove to look at mansions and stuff, and then he pulled over after I was like about to make him. And then it kind of like made us realize that we were very sexually compatible, but like we both weren't ready for anything real. And then it started with like anytime I was lonely, I would just text him at night and be like, hey, do you want to come over and like watch a movie or something? And like, I don't really smoke weed, you guys, but I did go through a phase where I did get high, and like he was the person that I would like get high with, and like he would never take advantage of me. And that's what I really like about like the whole friends with benefits thing, is there's certain people, like I didn't go into it thinking he and I were gonna be friends with benefits. Like, just for the record, we tried to date, but I got too high one time and I passed out like mid, like so embarrassing, but I definitely passed out. And like one thing that I really like about him is like I would blow him any day. If he texted me and said like, hey Sydney, like I had a really bad day, can you just like blow me right now? Like I would totally do it because he is so sweet. Like when I got way too high, he tucked me into bed, didn't use me, didn't finish, like he blue balled himself because he is such a great guy. And like I really like that about like friends with benefits, especially when you're not in the mindset to be in a relationship, because I'm the type of person that like if I'm in one, I'm in it. If I'm not, I'm not. And like everyone needs time to heal in between relationships and dating and stuff. And like you could talk to someone for a month, but if they break your heart or you're trying to heal, then obviously you need that time to heal. And like everyone wants to have a good time. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely like, M is one of like my favorite friends with benefits that I have. And he's probably the most caring out of all of them. Now I have another one. His name is C. And let me tell you, he's probably the best I've ever had in my entire life. Like this man, very casual, and he's definitely like the biggest man I've ever met. Like anytime we have sex, I actually make him go and get a STD test. Like I pay for it because I'm like, yo, like I don't want to have sex with you and like put your dick in my mouth if like you have something. And it sounds really bad, but like he's just such a good bang. But I just know like deep down, like he's too good in bed. Like there's something that like makes me weary. So I just make sure that I do my part in being safe. And like he could get tested and pay for it himself, but I'm going to be really honest with you, like my job matters to me so much to the point that I need that proof and that like security that like I am never going to be putting other people in harm's way or myself. So if he and I are going to have sex, like the tests come back pretty quick. So I just like give him money and I'm like, I'll zell him and I'll be like, go get tested and then come over and me when you get your results. And he has to show me them before it. He is definitely like one of the, he's definitely the best I've ever had in my entire life. And I'll probably get into that way deeper another day. But he is like the best fuck I've ever had. And the first time that we ever had, like, he made me cry with how good it was. And I feel like he was someone that came into my life when I really needed someone to just like let me freaking like feel good about my body. And like he like healed me in weird ways. Like I'm not trying to give him this credit because like he might listen to this and he might be like, oh my gosh, Sydney. But he definitely is someone that like we have this weird connection. Like we can laugh about things and we can have, but we know it'll never be anything more than that, which is why it's friends with benefits. Like I've actually probably helped him with his career a lot too. And like, I really value him as a person. He's an awesome guy. But yeah, he has a trophy next to his name on my body count list. So he's pretty freaking good. But yeah, so in my opinion, I personally like exclusive way more, which is probably why with C, we don't have very often, but when we do, it's like worth it. And then with M, he's definitely still exclusive to me, if that makes sense. And then when he finds a relationship, we just don't mess around with each other, you know, and we just hit each other up when we need each other when we're single. But yeah, I still love exclusive, but I also feel like you have to talk about it. You can't just assume that someone is exclusively with you. I know so many girls, and I have so many girlfriends, and even guy friends that are like, oh, Sydney, like I'm dating this girl. It's going so well. I'm totally into her. And then when they message me and they're like, oh my gosh, they're not exclusive with me, blah, blah. Like I thought we were. And I'm like, did you ever have that conversation with them? Did you ever ask them if you guys were exclusive? Because I know for me, I'm pretty good about like discussing boundaries, exclusivity, but that's also like part of being a star or an adult film star, whatever you want to call it, or even an OnlyFans girl. Like you have to be aware of those things. So it like opens the conversation a little quicker. People that don't talk about those things as easily or as quickly as maybe when it comes up in their head. So if you are someone that is questioning your relationship, ask yourself this. When I ask them if we're exclusive or not, what answer do you want it to be? One of my best friends, different than the one I was telling you about earlier, one of my best friends, she has been talking to this guy and having sex with him for probably 6 or 7 months. In that amount of time, she told him, we are not exclusive. And then that was when they first met, like 6 or 7 months ago. She said, we are not exclusive. Eventually, if we build something, I would love to be exclusive. But I want to be clear with you right now that I am not just talking to you. I'm talking to other people. And then he said, well, I'm just talking to you. He didn't have to tell her that he was just talking to her because she wasn't going to judge him if he was talking to other people. Then she finds out that he lied to her and he's been talking to like 6 or 7 other girls. He's still on Bumble. And it's just disappointing because like he didn't have to tell her that he was not talking to anyone else if he was talking to other people, which he was. And I even found him on Bumble. So like, excuse me, sir. Then she brought it up again when he got back from a trip and she was like, hey, normally you don't have condoms, because she's the one that always brings them. And she's like, okay, so here's her thought process. Those gas station condoms come in a 3-pack, right? He had 4 condoms, which means that he had 2 3-pack condoms and he had not used 1 pack and then he'd used 2 from the other, which meant that he was having sex with someone other than her. She called him out for it. He never came clean. Months go by and he finally comes clean. He tells her, yeah, when I was in Michigan, I definitely fucked up. I fucked someone else. Like, it wasn't even worth it. Blah, blah, blah. Tried to give her this whole sob story. And all he had to say was, yeah, I had sex with someone else originally, because she was still having sex with other people. All she wanted was for him to be honest. And I think that, like, that's the hard part about having, like, dating and, like, casual versus, because they were casually fucking, okay? They weren't exclusive, but having that communication and, like, knowing your sexual health is so important. So, yeah, she definitely, like, lost trust in him because all he had to do was be honest, and he couldn't be honest about it. Then she caught him again doing it, and, like, what are you doing, dude? But it's definitely one of those situations where I always ask myself, I'm like, if I was in that situation, would I drop that guy? Sure as hell I would. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, I personally, like, want honesty. Even if someone's sleeping with other people, I need to make the decision for myself. I don't want to ever be lied to by someone, especially because they were casual. Like, it shouldn't have even mattered, and he should have been able to be honest, but he wasn't, which means if he had gotten an STD and given it to her, she wouldn't have known which guy that she was, like, you know what I mean? Like, because they're casually together. So him being dishonest was definitely, like, kind of, like, made her not want to have sex with him. I'm just waiting for her to drop him at this point, because I'm like, dude, like, you deserve better. Like, I'm really lucky that the guys that I have in my life right now, I have no one that I'm exclusive with, right? I am so lucky, though, that the people that I talk to, like, I'm so upfront with them in the beginning that I'm like, yo, I'm not in a place to be exclusive right now. Or I say, like, maybe eventually, blah, blah, you know, that whole thing. And, like, I want to be able to discuss things with people. I don't want to have someone lie to me. Like, there's no rules about dating. Like, there's no code of how to handle it. But I really try and make sure people don't feel judged, because the moment that someone feels judged is the moment that they shut down and they're not honest with you, and you end up having this whole mess. So those are my thoughts, if you can understand where I'm going, and stories and everything about, like, casual versus exclusive dating. I would love to know what you prefer. Do you like casual or exclusive dating? I also think dating apps definitely make people get, like, used to casual dating. I don't know that many people that, like, outright are looking to just be exclusive with someone like this, you know? So, yeah. I hope that you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation today that I had with myself. And I would love a review if you want to give me one. And if you're curious about my content, you can just go to fitsid.com. And my OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/fitsid. So I hope that you enjoyed. Just know that you are loved. I hope you have a great day, a great night, and a great week. Mwah! I will talk to you in the next one.